Well, tomorrow, September 29th, is a very special day in the Catholic Church. It's the Feast of the Archangels, Gabriel, Raphael, and Saint Michael. And there's this new movie that's coming to theaters for one day. Lots of people who follow me know that a lot of times I talk about these Fathom events that take place, which is really a company renting movie theaters for 1 or 2 days to share a movie that maybe couldn't be on a wider release. But it's always good when there is a good turnout. Sometimes they get even more days. The most successful Fathom event that I know of was The Chosen, the Christmas Chosen special, which stayed for weeks in the theaters because of the great demand. So the St. Michael movie called St. Michael Meet the Angel is coming out tomorrow. I'm speaking with Oscar Delgado, who is the producer of this film for the English audiences. He is an independent Hollywood producer, a philanthropist, and a former NBC News senior war correspondent. And now he's dedicated a lot of his time to making faith-based films and promoting them. And I'm so appreciative that you're joining me today to speak a little bit about this movie about St. Michael.
Oh, Father, thank you for having me. I'm so excited about being able to tell people tomorrow to get out to the theaters and be able to see this film. You know, Father, they asked me, Oscar, why did you do this film? What's important? And I go back and say, we've lost a lot of our devotions, and it's important to remember about the holy angels. The Lord has given us an angel as when we were conceived. There's a holy angel that comes with us, and then we have Saint Michael that also helps us in this battle. So there's a lot of people depressed and with despair. They feel alone. You're not alone. You're not alone. You have a holy angel with you. You have Saint Michael to help you in these battles. So that's why the film is out there.
Great. And maybe first, just remind me of the exact title of the film.
Sure.
I'm having a little internet, the internet here hasn't been working well today, so I'm actually tethering to my computer. So what's the name of the film? Who made
Right, sure. So the title is Saint Michael Meet the Angel. If you go to Saint Michael, this is all spelled out, stmichaelmovie.com. It'll tell you about the where you can get it and the release. It's in almost 1,000 theaters nationwide, in Puerto Rico, in England, and in Poland. I picked, as you said, September 29th is the feast day of the Archangels, and I picked that day for the release. And so that, if you want to know, everything, where to go find it, I'd really appreciate you guys go out in the groups or however, so that we can support, as Father talked about, these type of Fathom events that people can go and they'll enjoy these type of films. We love to make them, but obviously we want you to come see it. So everybody can enjoy and we can have more of these type of films.
Now, this is a documentary. I think a lot of it was maybe shot in Polish, actually, so it is dubbed. There's kind of a voiceover explaining. You can almost hear the Polish or the interviewees speaking. So who actually made the film, and your role as producer then to bring it to America? What's that?
Well, it was the Michaelites. They're a Polish order in Poland, but they specialize in the angels. And so in the Gargano, which is the sanctuary of Saint Michael, the international sanctuary there in Italy, they wanted to do something and promote Saint Michael and all the archangels. And so they shot it, and then they brought it to me and I looked at it and I recut it and put new scenes in there, dubbed it so that it would make it more for an American audience and be able to then release it. So that's kind of the backstory for that. But it all about is here about healings of Saint Michael, his importance in helping others avoid temptation, all the different things and just the beautiful shot. It's beautifully shot, all the different sanctuaries that you could see. So it's really exciting. I think you'll really enjoy and learn a lot about the holy angels.
Why do you think St. Michael is needed today? Of course, a long time ago, we said the St. Michael prayer at the end of Mass. Now, I actually brought that back to my parishes, partly because we had a lot of kind of bad weather phenomena happening. Like I had a tree fall on the church. We were struck by lightning. And so I'm like, I think we need St. Michael. But why do you think just in the world today, we need St. Michael?
Well, because I think that we need to be able to fight this battle. So here's the thing. The Lord gives us tools to fight. We all know that. So one of the things he gives us are the angels, especially Saint Michael. But if we don't use those tools, what happens? The other side gets an advantage, right? So, as you said, it's great that you do the Saint Michael prayer after Mass. We need to do that. We need to invoke the angels again, because those are the weapons, those are the things that God gives us to fight. And so it's run rampant. I mean, so we need Saint Michael, because that's the general of the army of the sky, as I always say, and to help us fight the devils that have been thrown away onto the earth. And we need our help. We need helpers to do this. So it's critical.
Tomorrow, September 29th, people are going to go out to the theater. They're going to participate in this Fathom event if it's local and nearby where they live. What should they expect when they sit down and watch the film?
They should expect to learn a lot about the Saint Michael and the other angels. They should learn I think what they'll be surprised at the power of Saint Michael. I mean, we've heard about it, but how he really affects people in their personal life if you invoke him. The healings, you'll see the healings of Saint Michael. You'll see them how he's been able to make people aware of their presence, and to be able to fight evil. I think that's the other thing that people should realize, that they're not alone as they go in this world, that they have the holy angels to accompany them and to fight for them. And I think that in our society today, people just they think they're alone. They're not really trying to utilize the resources that are necessary to go and fight, the battles that were in front of us, that all of us have to fight.
One of the segments I really appreciated in the film was actually about St. Michael and the family. So this one guy goes on and talks about how St. Michael is needed in the family. And I think that's just a great awareness for all of us to have
Right.
his presence there. So there are lots of different places of devotion to St. Michael. I'm actually a big devotee of kind of a unapproved Marian apparition, but it's not condemned, of Garabandal. And actually, when you
Okay,
go up
yes.
the Pines, you're greeted right there by an image of St. Michael, because St. Michael appeared there also in Garabandal. But there are lots of different places of devotion to St. Michael. I'm the pastor of some Belgian parishes in northeastern Wisconsin. So I was very much impressed to see that St. Michael in the opening shots, all over Brussels, Belgium.
Right.
And
Yeah, that's exactly right.
with all the
Yeah.
stuff going on in Brussels too, in Belgium, especially because the bishops made a rite of blessing gay marriages or homosexual couples.
Right.
So I think St. Michael is really needed in Brussels. So it's great that there are statues there. So I love those pans. But then you'll learn about the cave that's there in Italy, and then Mont Saint Michel in France. So there are a lot of different places. Have you been to any of those places?
I've been to Gargano and Saint Michel. Yes, I've been to those. I did go to Brussels, but just for work. So I haven't gone to any of the sites that St. Michael has, but definitely St. Michael is definitely needed for Brussels, big time.
Now, before you produced this film for the English-speaking audiences, did you have a particular devotion to St. Michael, or would you say that this documentary really put St. Michael in your life?
Well, I got a funny story, Father. So I had this beautiful statue of St. Michael. I live now in Rochester, Minnesota, and I had this beautiful statue outside my house, that tree, gorgeous, from Mexico, bronze, and it was stolen, and I'm like, what? I mean, I've always had, so that got me thinking, is like, who would steal my St. Michael statue? It was bolted in, everything else. So it's like, okay, so obviously there's warfare everywhere. So that also inspired me to say, okay, I've always had a devotion to St. Michael, but now it looks like they kidnapped him, so I'm upset. So now I'm going to go back and do even, I'm going to hit it back 100 times harder. So that's why I did the film, So, but for your listeners, if they go to stmichaelmovie.com, again, they will be able to see in their sites where they can go and see the film. And sometimes, Father, they've gone there and say it's sold out or whatever. Go to Fandango, because believe it or not, in some of the places they've added a second screen or a third screen. So you might have to just contact the theater. So it's good, but that's what I would do. So I would ask that call the theaters if there's an issue.
Now, let's say someone can't make it Thursday, September 29th. Their grandchild has a volleyball game or a football game or something. When could we expect maybe to get our hands on it or be able to see it through a streaming platform?
Well, that would be next year, Father, next year. We're hoping, and again, this is a hope and a prayer, and ask your listeners, if we're able to do very well, we may be able to get a second screening, but it depends on the people being able to go out into the theaters now and to show Fathom and the other theater owners that or theater chains that this is something that people want to see. So I leave it up to St. Michael, I leave it up to your discretion and your viewers' discretion to be able to see and do these things, you know?
Well, we do need St. Michael. And I think when people go out to the theaters, truly they will meet the angel, St. Michael. So thanks so much, Oscar, for joining me today and just sharing a little bit about this project so that we have an awareness and maybe be able to go see it tomorrow.
Thank you, Father. God bless.